Engineering class turned a junker car into a fully running vehicle. And an update on the girls' volleyball team getting their wins taken away? All this and more coming up on BTV. Hi Buffs, I'm Neo Johnson with episode 4 of BTV. With thousands student laptops and teacher computers, we are bound to run into some tech issues. And there's only one person in charge of keeping all that gear up and running. Reporter Paul Ramirez interviewed Mr. Lewis about these issues and what to do if you have one.
Yeah, I lost my computer charger.
I lost my charger like a week ago at lunch.
While being on the computer, I usually charge my phone on the computer, and a virus went through my phone into the computer.
Now that every student has received a computer, technology issues are becoming more of a problem.
Most common issues right now are lost chargers and broken screens, not keeping care of their property and their technology.
Another issue is damage to student laptops.
One big thing for broken screens, I see students doing this, and that is a good way to break the screen. Just simple pressure like that will cause a screen to break. Keep in mind that when the laptop is in your backpack, that you keep that in your mindset.
There are many things that students can do to take better care of their laptops.
It's very important that we manage it well, use it appropriately, and then also make sure we keep them clean and dust-free. Self-care of the technology and proper use.
If you are having issues, it is important to submit a request on the Southeast website.
As long as they submit a request properly, it goes right into my system, and then I'm working a lot of those requests as quickly and as fast as possible.
For BTV, I'm Paul Ramirez.
Thanks, Paul. Every school year we have students get put into random classes. Reporter David Lowndes has more information on why that happens and how you can avoid it happening to you.
Random classes are an annoyance for teachers and students.
That's not very typical, usually, as far as like being placed in a class randomly or having the prerequisite. We try to go on what the student asked for last year and what are the classes they need for graduation. And then sometimes students only fill out a few classes, so now we're stuck with, they only get half a schedule because they only put in the core classes or only wanted 1 or 2 electives instead of 4 or 5.
Even some teachers face the difficulty of having random students put in their class.
Yes, I have noticed that sometimes students feel like they are just thrown into a class. A lot of that is they didn't take the time during enrollment, or the programs of studies was not available to them to see what the expectations for the class was.
Also, some students who were just a little late to enroll.
Yeah, aerobics and fitness class, I got put into that class. It was probably because of the electives, because I didn't have a chance to choose them before summer, and there's that class.
But with random class problems, they are the ways to prevent ending in one.
No, mainly because I didn't have time, so they just put me in. I had only a couple of options. It was that, or I had to sit in the class and do something about it.
Well, typically, if a student doesn't have a schedule, we try to call them in and find a class that they would choose between the options available.
Thanks, David. Between last COVID year and this year, the custodian's workload has changed in more ways than one. Reporter Alex Backus tells us how custodians are handling having everyone back in person.
Over the last year and a half, the custodian workload has vastly changed. With the large influx of students attending school and the small staff count, janitors have been very overwhelmed.
Last year, we only had maybe at the most was 750 kids. We started off there was a half a day on a missed day on Wednesday, so we only did a Monday, Tuesday, a Thursday, Friday, which made the workload much easier.
COVID has also provided an extra challenge to custodians, as they are the main people in charge of keeping contamination around the school low.
We still have to spray down all the rooms each night. We still do the high touch points all throughout the day. That's wiping on the restroom sinks, the paper towel dispensers, toilet paper dispensers.
The custodians are also suffering from a staff shortage this year. As of now, we only have a few custodians who are in charge of keeping the entire school clean.
We've also been short some people throughout the year ever since school started. and all of us had to do more work this year than we had to do last year.
Custodians ask for students and teachers to try and keep their spaces clean to make their workload a lot less stressful.
It would really be helpful if the teachers would kind of help us out a little bit, like maybe put the chairs up on the table at the end of the day, just things like that, so we can get through the room faster, so we can do more, because we are asked to do more this year than actually ever before.
Thanks, Alex. As we showed you last year, Mr. Andrews brought in a broken down car for his engineering class to get fixed up and running again. Here is Evan Tong for an update on how they're doing.
Push in that clutch and feather that gas pedal. We're going for a ride. Continuing off from last year, Mr. Andrews and his team of aspiring mechanics have succeeded in restoring his old Mustang.
It feels great. I think the reward is actually watching them in action. I mean, being able to see stuff come together.
With the opportunity given by Mr. Andrews, these students took off and put their hard work in.
Oh, dude, this car, absolutely love it. V8 Cobra engine. I applied myself in every way I could. I helped flip the engine and the transmission in.
I'm very proud of myself and my fellow peers and my teacher.
Cool to see that we worked on something, and then after the fact to see it driving around and actually working is cool, especially considering the whole engine was taken apart.
The work being done has paved the way for future Southeast projects as Mr. Andrews strives to expand his automotive program.
Our current project as of right now may be on hold. It was a 65 Chevy Malibu. We are currently waiting for the frame and the engine to be completed so that we can get it back here and put it back together. But we may be transitioning over to a student's car that is currently sitting. I have fun every day. I have fun because it gives me a way to connect to the kids that are around me. You guys are gonna leave. And that's something that I'm gonna have to take into consideration, that sooner or later all the students that I've had are gonna be gone. But the question is not what they'll forget when they leave here and go where else they're going, but what will they remember? What is the one thing that will have touched them in a way that they'll remember something forever?
Just remember that whenever you see that Mustang, Buffalo's like you made it what it is, and so can you. For BTV, I'm Evan Tong.
Thanks, Evan. Here is this episode installment of Have You Heard Halloween Edition. Miles Banks will be asking students, what are your zombie apocalyptic plans for this school?
Hi, I'm Miles Banks, back with another segment of Have You Heard? Today's question, if you had to pick one place in the building to ward off a zombie apocalypse, where would you pick?
It's gotta be in the wrestling room or the small gym or something like that.
Why?
There's no windows, and it's not a small space, but not as big as like the big gym or something like that.
I would choose the cafeteria because there's food and there's also weapons there, like knives and everything like that.
G105.
And why is it?
Best room in the school for everything you need to survive.
I would choose the culinary building, or room, because they have all the knives. Just start chucking knives at zombies.
I would pick our instrumental music room because even though it's a bigger space, it's very well defendable, and we have lots of sharp, heavy, pointy things to defend ourselves with.
The wrestling room because there's two entrances, and I would put barricade the two entrances where you usually go in, and you leave the back one to escape out.
Probably the science room. I could make fire and guard myself. That's about it.
I'd pick the men's sports locker room because there's two entrances. One is in the hallway and one goes out to the tunnel to the field, and we could barricade one of those, and it'd be pretty secure. There's no windows, one way in, one way out. Yeah.
That's all for this segment. Tune in next episode for another thing of Have You Heard? Back to you in the studio, Neo.
On October 12th, our Southeast Orchestra performed in a concert, their first official one since March of last year. All three orchestra ensembles were present, which consisted of approximately 100 students. The theme of this concert was rock. Instead of more traditional orchestral pieces, they played a collection of rock riffs, Fire in the Forge, lyric metal, and more.
Put your vest on.
Our 8th ever Performing Arts Showcase was hosted on October 26th. A total of 7 groups performed, those being orchestra, band, jazz band, forensics, concert choir, madrigal singers, and the cast and crew of our theater performance. The theater kids performed a few sections from Gretel. A grand total of 195 students performed in front of 300 middle schoolers. Around Halloween time, I'm sure you've seen the Candy Skulls decorating the tabletops outside of EPOD. That was from a class project for Spanish 4 and 5 for the Mexican holiday Dia de los Muertos. They also had to give an oral presentation in Spanish about their ofrenda. This is our first year hosting the Southeast Football Bonfire and Costume Contest. There were concessions with cotton candy, Krispy Kreme donuts, s'mores, and more. However, the bonfire was rescheduled for a later date for when the fire department would allow them to light the bonfire. Connie Reddick, one of our amazing staff members, has been nominated the Kansas Assistant Principal of the Year. Many assistant principals across the state were nominated. The Kansas Principals Association picked 2 finalists, Reddick being one of them, and sent a questionnaire asking them about their work in climate, culture, support of students, and more. We recently reached the 50th anniversary of our first Southeast Basketball Championship. Reporter Ladivion Hollingsworth interviewed a member of the team about his experience.
The 2 teams the year before me, in 1970 and 1969, they had gone to the state championship and lost. I was eligible my senior year, and we won the state championship after 2 failed attempts with what some people would call a college lineup.
Former player Dennison Woods was a part of the most successful basketball team in Southeast history, but basketball wasn't the only successful sport representing Southeast at the time.
Matter of fact, there were 6 different state championships. I think swimming, debate, maybe track, and baseball, all in 1971. I think that's accomplishment has never ever been accomplished before or since 1971. And it may not even be accomplished by any other school anywhere. That one school won 6 state championships in 1 year.
A lot of people today may not know about the importance of such a historical moment. Current basketball coach Joe Mitchell was a part of the 2008 championship, but even he doesn't know much about the first championship team.
I actually don't even know a member of the 71 team, but it's something I probably should find out and can find out. Being the head coach of Wichita Southeast, a very prominent basketball team here in the state of Kansas, that is something I need to know. So I'm definitely looking forward to finding out.
Even though he doesn't know much about the accomplishments of Southeast 71 team, he still hopes to lead Southeast to another title match in the near future.
I definitely want to get it back to where we once was. I feel that the past years we haven't been as prominent as we once was back in the 2000s, early 2000s, late 2000s. I am hopeful hopefully to get us back to that level. I know my first year we ended up going back to state. We ended up placing 3rd, which we haven't been back since, but hopefully this year we can change that.
Woods knows how much hard work and time it takes to get to that level.
Well, you know, this new generation and everything, they kind of microwave. You know what I mean? They want everything right now and quick, and some of them don't put the effort in. And back in the day, we played a lot more fundamentals. You know, it wasn't how high you could jump. It was how fast you could run more. So, you know, and that's something you could increase on.
For BTV, I'm Ladavian Hollingsworth.
Thanks, Ladivion. Now here is sports anchor Evan Tong with this episode's Sportscast.
Hi, I'm Evan Tong, and welcome to the Buffalo Sports Network. Let's get down to our recap. Coach Fitch and the Cadillac kids roll out their senior night as 9 seniors took home field for the last time, beating South 4-0. They ended their season in a capital march with a 2-1 loss against Topeka High in the West Regionals. Congratulations to the All-City selections. Volleyball ends their season trudging up the turnpike, losing to Garden City at Substate in a 1-2 series. That puts our overall record at 12-22, but we wouldn't have those wins if KSHSAA decided not to accept our appeal. Here's what happened.
I felt real down, felt really guilty because my team, they were everything.
Olivia Greenman is a senior volleyball player who transferred to Southeast from homeschool. On October 1st of this year, the Southeast volleyball team had their wins vacated by the Kansas High School Activities Association.
I think 3 weeks ago, kind of some stuff happened. So got an email, wasn't able to play. It was a really, really hard night. It was kind of between some stuff between just uneligibility and just some miscommunication that had happened. It was really frustrating time. Our records were taken away.
It had already been 3 quarters into the season when KSHSAA had made the decision to vacate their wins.
They should have gave her a warning or told her next time, but because it was their senior season. We had like 4 games left.
We were so mad. We were trying to place high for sub-state and all that, and getting everything taken away it just crushed our souls, honestly. We were so sad.
It put the team through some heartbreak.
Oh, I was pretty angry. I'm not going to lie. I was pretty hot because not only that, but we also lost a teammate. When you lose somebody who gels with the team and the team, depends on them and it's exciting and everything like that.
The issue at hand, however, was if she was ineligible in the first place, and that is what frustrated the team the most. Olivia transferred to Southeast to play her senior season of volleyball as she could no longer play at Trinity Academy. Olivia had lived in the Southeast District all her life, but had not attended the school until her senior year. Due to transfer rules, a player has to move their home in order to play, regardless of if they already live in the district.
So they weren't allowing me to play because I was ineligible.
The team filed a hardship exemption for Olivia so she could play at Southeast as she had nowhere else to play. Their appeal was granted, and the team received their wins back, but most importantly, they had their player back.
I feel really good. I love having Olivia back. She's an inspiration to the team, and we just love her so much.
I was very impressed and proud of Olivia because she found a way to still smile, although they took away her season.
Although KSHSAA made a controversial decision, they decided to reverse their original verdict.
I'm really thankful for their appeal and willing to listen to our case. It's the right thing, and I'm really glad and really thankful for it.
Man, that was tough to go through for the volleyball team, I bet. Well, at least you guys got Olivia back. Our hearts go out to you and your team. Man, has it been rough for our favorite grass-eating animal as they are stuck in a world of turf with an ineligible player situation of their own. Our 28-6 win against North was vacated, putting our record at 0-8 instead of 1-7. We still made it to the playoffs, however, and managed to score an 80-yard touchdown against the juggernaut Derby Panthers. Well, this is a young team. Good luck next year. Our cross-country season ends with Jake Beecham qualifying for state. Jake ran across Kellogg to Augusta, where he placed 11th in the state meet with a time of 16:10.8. Congratulations on a top 15 finish, Jake. Now here's Ricky Clay with this episode's installment of Buff Elites introducing a member of our esports team.
Hi, my name is Ricky Clay, and I'm with Buff Elites, and today I'm with
Mr. Schonifer, Coach Schonifer.
Now, Mr. Schonifer, I know that your team goes out there and they play those video games really well. I saw a couple times that your Smash teams and your Valorant teams, they went pretty far and they did really well. What are your teams that do the best, and really tell us about the team as a whole?
Yeah, so first of all, it's kind of this weird paradox that we are actually nationally known, but we are known more around the United States, mostly on the East Coast in New York and West Coast in California, than we are in our own school. So we do have a fantastic nationally ranked esports team. First and foremost, I'd like to mention Anna Nguyen. She has been a fantastic team manager for the Valorant team. For varsity and JV, she has allowed them to participate in college tournaments, online tournaments, local tournaments. She has been handling roster information, scouting, everything. Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome. Great to hear from you, Mr. Schonifer. Once again, I'm Ricky Clay with Buff Elites, and that's it. Back to you.
Thanks, Ricky. Well, that's it for sports. Remember to keep that herd together. Back to you, Neo.
Thanks, Evan. That's it for this episode of BTV. Make sure to tune in next time. We leave you with some sights and sounds from the orchestra concert.